Hey there. Subscribe to my channel. And also press this bell icon, so you never miss any new updates, cause whenever we upload new video you will get a notification on your phone.
Hello viewers, welcome to our YouTube info channel. Today we will discuss the success story of Singapore. Let's start. When Singapore was expelled from Malaysia in 1965 and thrust into an unwanted independence, it was a typical third world country. Its per capita income of $500 was the same as Ghana's then. It was not desperately poor, but it had malnutrition. This malnutrition disappeared quickly. Singapore's per capita income has shot from $500 to $55,000 today, the largest increase any newly independent nation has enjoyed. This spectacular economic success story of Singapore is clearly amazing. The island of Singapore, on the tip of the Malay Peninsula in Southeast Asia, has been an independent country since 1965. During that half-century it has been a model microstate. How is it faring today? Very well. The Governing People's Action Party, PAP, of Lee Kuan Yew, Singapore's modern founder, won 83 of 89 contested seats in Parliament and captured nearly 70% of the vote in elections last September. It was its best performance since 1991 for the party, which has governed continuously since Singapore became a sovereign nation. It was a good result for the PAP, but an excellent result for Singapore, Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, a son of the founder, remarked. The country's main political opposition, the Workers' Party, retained 6 members in Parliament, the same number it had won in the 2011 election. Lee Kuan Yew's Singapore model was a mix of semi-authoritarian, one-party rule, meticulous urban planning, laissez-faire economic policies, low taxes, and imported foreign talent. His developmental state would ensure collective prosperity, premised upon social peace between its ethnic groups, and cooperative attitudes from labor unions and individual workers towards nation-building program. The island also enjoyed a strategic location at the crossroads between the Straits of Malacca and the South China Sea, and the little nation of 719 square kilometers became an international business and financial center. Singapore has flourished, and it has consistently been ranked among the top 5 most competitive and globalized states in the world. Lee, who died in March 2015, became Prime Minister in 1959. When the island became a self-governing British colony, he led Singapore into a federation with Malaya in 1963. After Singapore left the Federation of Malaysia in 1965, Lee took the helm again as the leader of an independent nation until 1990, when he stepped down. He was a proponent of so-called Asian values, in which the good of society takes precedence over the rights of the individual, and citizens cede some autonomy in return for paternalistic rule. Lee suppressed political opposition and imposed strict limits on free speech and public assembly. He was adept at filing libel suits that sometimes drove his opponents into bankruptcy. The loss of personal freedoms in exchange for order and prosperity. The country has at $56,000. One of the highest per capita incomes in the world, was a trade-off broadly accepted by older Singaporeans. But among younger people, expectations are changing. Free speech advocates have long criticized Singapore's tight curbs on expression, but officials insist laws prohibiting the incitement of ethnic hatred are important for maintaining harmony in the country's diverse population. The island's largest ethnic group is Chinese, who comprise almost 3/4 of the population. Another 14.3% are Malay, and 9.2% Indian. Buddhism is the most widely practiced religion in Singapore, at 33%. followed by Christianity 19%, Islam 14%, Taoism 11%, and Hinduism 5%. Lee promoted the use of English as the language of business and the common tongue among the ethnic group, while recognizing Malay, Mandarin and Tamil as other official languages. Battling a low birth rate, the government allowed an increase in foreign workers over the last decade and a half. Non-resident immigrants and permanent residents now make up 39% of the nation's 5.6 million people. In March, a Japanese-Australian woman was sentenced to a 10-month jail term over blog posts that besmirched foreigners in the city-state. The articles were intended from the outset to provoke unwarranted hatred against foreigners in Singapore. District Judge Selina Ishig said a few years ago. Stanford University political scientist Larry Diamond observed that Singapore is the most economically developed non-democracy in the history of the world. But Singapore is changing as debates over political rights and obligations, national identity, the rights of immigrants, and economic priorities continue to determine its future. First and most important advantage is its strategic location. Singapore's location lets it serve as the gateway between the East and the West. It's located in the Malacca Strait, at the southern tip of the Malaysian peninsula, through which around 40% of the world's maritime trade passes through. In addition to this, Singapore is surrounded by deep water. In addition, combined with the sheer volume of shipping that passes through, makes it the perfect spot for a harbour. So a massive shipping port is built, which still stands as the second largest on Earth, second only that of Shanghai. Now around 130,000 ships pass through the port, which at any one time is holding around 1,000 ships. Even though Singapore has few natural resources to itself, it imports resources such as crude oil, processes and/or refines them. Singapore then re-exports the finished products. The port also serves Singapore's service and hospitality industry. This is because the ships that dock needs to resupply with food and water, thus also providing a good income stream for the industry. Singapore's port is one of the largest reasons why, even though it has almost no natural resources to speak of, it continues to be one of the largest economies in the world. Business Singapore strove to make their port more attractive than those of other countries in their region. In order to do that, they created a value-based manufacturing system, an export-based economy, and signing free trade agreement. The free trade agreement is signed with around 31 different countries that drive down the costs of importing and exporting, further encouraging trade within Singapore. To bring in more entrepreneurs and foreign companies, running a business in Singapore is designed from the ground up to be as easy as possible. It is often bragged that it takes less than 3 hours to set up a corporation completely here. In spite of this, many of the businesses are owned by or are branches of foreign corporations. These corporations are attracted by the almost ridiculously low tariffs and lax tax laws. Furthermore, its economy that is free from corruption, unions and taxation policies. The city has very comprehensive social institutions which are put in place in their early day. Excellent healthcare, housing and education, especially for Singaporean natives. The reasoning behind this is if a person is contributing to the society and its progress, then the government should do all it can to ease all other burdens on them. It also adopts as many successful policies from other countries as it can.